keep bringing the candy. I am the candy man. Thanks, Tim.
You're a cheap date.
For all of you guys that think I'm mean to Tim, if I was that mean to Tim, he wouldn't be bringing me candy.
That's true. I know how to butter you up. That piece was going to be so small.
Well, it gets a second half to it.
Oh, okay.
Hold all of it down. Just the first half. Just got to follow this first piece, cat's ass. Every time I put a stretcher or shrinker or hammer to it, it changes a little. Got to keep checking it and fighting it back into shape. Screws, two things, they help me hold it. They also put me right back where it was. Can't never change the screw hole. I can always clamp it back in the wrong spot. The screw holes tell everything.
Look at that.
Hmm.
Look at that. Making rainbows? What are you doing?
Yep. Rainbows. This is my guide for my shrinking on the big hammer. I don't want to shrink back inside there. This is the cut line. Cut that line and don't shrink past this line. And then this will eventually be cut someday. That's the someday line. All right. Now we gotta go to the big hammer.
What is this machine?
This is a big Bailey's power hammer. It's just shapes a lot of metal really fast. It actually shrinks the metal, so what you're gonna see is that flat panel go in, and this little fingernail and this fingernail, when they smash the metal down, it creates that in the metal. So I do a bunch of those in the metal, and then when I hit it back here on this edge, it smashes them out. And as I kick it up and then smash it down, kick it up and smash it down, it's actually shrinking the metal. And when the metal comes in here flat and gets a bunch of them, and then I start shrinking it, it starts to roll over like that. Once it starts rolling over like that, as I'm driving it on that curve, then it starts making what we need for a wheel tub. Then all these other dies do a bunch of different things. So it'll be a multi-process. You know, we'll have to hammer this back flat and make that smooth and shrink it some more. You know, call it sneaking up on it. Bunch of different steps. But this just makes it really fast. You can do this by hand with a hammer and dolly, but it takes a long time.
But you don't do that if you have one of these.
Right.
This will definitely make it easier.
Everything this does you can do with a tree stump or a piece of railroad track, but it takes a long time. When you're doing it in your garage at home, taking a long time doesn't necessarily matter. When you're doing it at a shop and they're paying you, taking a long time costs a lot of money. So you get it on here, you knock it out a lot faster, the shop makes money and the customer doesn't have to spend a bunch of money. That's all that is. So now you can see where it's flat, where I didn't touch it at all, and then where I was shrinking it, it's rolling it over. So bigger, flatter one. It's got a slight curve. What I'm gonna do is run in this area just to put a little bit of radius in there and then knock some of this lumpy dumpy down, and it'll just put a little more shape into it. So it's not just flat. We'll put a little radius, sloping into a harder radius, and then I'll switch to a even smaller one with a bigger crown so that I can get all up into these radiuses here and get that a little bit smoother. It'll be a combination of this English wheel planishing hammer. Like this is the barbaric. It comes in with the big muscle and puts the heavy duty shape in it. And then you finesse it with the finer tools like a planishing hammer and English wheel.
What are you marking here?
Highs and lows, like this really tight right in through here. Kind of sinks down. I got a nice crown, and then right in here is low, so this will mark the spot where I need to work it. Just a spots to give some attention.
These are the troubled areas.
Yeah.
So to focus on these. It's kind of hard to see, but you feel it. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you lay your hand on the flat like that and go across here. That's another trick. Like your metal may feel smooth to you with your hand, but if you put a towel over it, you'll feel it. It's like, it's slight, but
Yeah, I can feel a little bit.
just feel it right in there. Kind of drops down a little bit. That one too. It's more right there than these. These are a couple little high spots. We'll work it around a little bit there, get that up, and then kind of get a little bit of a test fit, then start having to shrink it down and pulling it around to get it to really fit nice. Got this side fitting pretty nice. Just got a couple screws in it here and there to hold it from falling. But the seam where I'm gonna cut it and weld it together fits really good. Just got to get this side there. Now, as you can see, you got this is just a guide. Now we'll hammer and dolly and finesse that too, but it's our guide to get somewhere. So if I place it right in that center and that front, it's not looking so bad, but then this has a bunch of excess material, so I gotta shrink this over some more and bring it down to get it in line where we're going. So we could easily say that this is all savable. If I put that under there, see now how that don't fit. So if I take that out, I got a bigger area that's fitting nice here than if I put it in. So, got to work this side down a little bit. I think we're in the neighborhood, which is a good thing. Yeah, wasn't a bad first swing.
Yeah.
So I say once you do one side, you kind of know what to expect for that next one.
Getting closer.
Huh?
It's getting closer.
Yeah, it's getting there. I keep on working on it. I shrink this down right in here. Bring this down and kind of flare that out. Just combination shit.
Sorry, I turned off your soul jams.
So you said you killed soul jams. Oh, there ain't no work. There ain't gonna be no video. There ain't gonna be.
I bought treats. I bought treats.
What soul jam? What soul jam?
Yeah. What? I can turn off the radio as much as I want.
Hey, I can eat this whole box. It says low fat.
There you go.
It's like, whoa.
I know you've been riding your bike and shit.
Damn, I have. So I can burn this off, but you're not supposed to keep feeding it to me. But I'm a junkie. I ain't gonna turn it down. So here we are on the other side, doing the same deja vu work on the Corvair. Like I said, we're going in steps. On the other side, we made this lip, and then we made this outer piece. And then everything's just screwed together. This one's pretty rough still. I got some hammer and dollying to do to get the two to mate really good. What I'm doing is measuring. I got measure points from the table to the wheel to the edge so that both sides are the same, because we're going to make this outer body. We'll be out here in outer space, so if this thing's way out here on this side, that's where I'm going to make my panel to. Or if it's in too tight on this side, that's where I'm going to make my panel to. So what I'm doing is making every little piece one at a time, left and right, so I can hold them together and I know I got the shape. Everything's the shape, and then it fits the car. Screw it together, go back, make the next piece. Now we're taking measurements from the wheel in 3 spots, making sure they're the same from side to side, and then the length the same from side to side. That gives us our overall shape, our overall everything, call it ingredients, is the same from side to side. Now we can come back and cut this and actually weld the seam, and then drill holes in this, and this will all be spot welded on, and this will be seam welded and metal finish. You won't never see it become one piece. Then we decide how we want our wheel well opening to look. Over there I have the wire framing, so that side will make the wheel well opening match the wire framing, and then we'll hammer that little lip over. At that point, to this section, both sides should be really close to the same. And then now we can start doing the outer sections of the body when we get to that point. What I'm saying is, we're gonna start here, we'll come out to here, then we gotta dive back into here. But if we don't know what here is, we're going anywhere when we're in too close. So that's why these two pieces are taking a little bit longer than normal, because normally we take the wheel off and the fender's here, we make this piece fit the fender. Well, I don't have a fender to make the piece fit. So I gotta make this piece with an imaginary fender, meaning tape measures off the wheel to know that both sides are really close to the same. We are really close right now. Things are fitting really good. I just gotta do a little shrinking and hammer and dollying to get these seams really nice before I cut and weld them. But if I start trying to push this while I'm welding it, that's gonna change this. And then when it's all welded, these measurements won't be the same. So if I can get it to just sit natural and loose, touching as much as I can, then when I weld it, it won't move as much. So, taking a little bit of time. I know these videos might be getting a little long or a little boring or whatever you're wanting to see the outside of the car. I am too, but I gotta do all this shit before I make the outside cool stuff. This is all the inner structures. Without this piece here, this body will be flopping. Every time you hit a bump, it'll flop. So once we connect the body to this lower edge, that holds the body nice and tight and strong. And then you hit bumps and everything like a normal car. This is the structure of that whole rear section of the car. So, very important piece, kind of time consuming the way I'm having to make it, but it's working out really well. We'll finesse this one in. We'll start welding, doing all the weld processes probably tomorrow on both of them. Then we'll spot weld it in and be on to cutting a big hole here. And now I'll make the airfoil section from out here to the inner floors on both sides. That will be next. So like I said, we're working from the inside out. Once all the inside to the outside stuff is made, we can start covering it all with the outside metal. Look across there, you kind of see what I'm saying. You have the inner tub going out to the outer little tub pieces that I'm making, hanging there in front of the tire, not completed yet. But that open section where you see the tire tread, that's part of the wind foil where the body's gonna curve in. So we'll be starting to fill all that area in. Once all that area is all filled in, then we'll start making the outside cool stuff on the body.
No, these parts are cool too.
What's that?
This is cool too.
Oh, it is. It's all cool. It's just kind of, it's probably freaking people out. They're like, what the hell are they making? And they're going to start sending the videos to their buddies like, look at these idiots. But this is not the wide body. This is just the inner structure.
Yeah.
The wide body of
I'll show the other side.
Yeah.
No, but this is insanely important.
Yeah, this is the heavy.
And nobody shows this. Yeah.
This is all the shit behind closed doors that people don't see. And then a lot of like the tuner guys and stuff, they just hog the fenders out and then put these flares over, and then now they don't have no structure there. And that's when the car just starts to deteriorate really fast over hitting bumps and road racing and drifting. You're putting a lot of flex in that thing, and it starts buckling and moving everywhere. Next thing you know, your deck lid don't shut right, your doors are hanging, all because you cut the structure out. We cut it out too, but we gotta hand make it, put it back in. Stronger than ever, actually. That's why I want to leave this ridge on here. This is a lot of backbone. We got, what I believe, 1,400 horsepower coming at this thing. So this rib here, just this silly little piece of this rib standing up 290s there, adds a lot of strength to this radius. It being round already puts a lot of strength in, and then that rib is helping put some structure in the body. The frame's super strong. You're never going to do anything to the frame. We just don't want the body twisting and popping. And this is how we go about keeping that strong, putting a lot of muscle in underneath the skin. So that's that. There's a lot more hammering and dialing and wearing myself out. We'll have this dialed in. Your next video will show a little bit of welding, metal finishing, finally putting it on where it all looks nice and uniform. I'll get rid of all this little hammer and shrinking marks. That's what I say, they get ugly before they get pretty. We're starting to turn pretty just because it's starting to fit, but all the metal working marks, all them little scars, that's the ugly part. That's getting all that metal to shrink that started out as a flat piece. So I'll go back when I metal finish and weld and grind and all that shit. We'll get this all fitting really nice and smooth and looks good. Shoot a little primer on it and then bury it in the sheet metal. Till the next episode. Keep bringing the candy. I am the candy man. Thanks, Tim.
You're a cheap date.
For all of you guys that think I'm mean to Tim, if I was that mean to Tim, he wouldn't be bringing me candy.
That's true. I know how to butter you up.
So this section's really dialed in good. We're going on to this section. Made slight adjustments in our curve opening here. I wanted it to be flat with the chassis, the bottom of the opening. So here's this little template. Got a little bit of tape here and there. I'll go back and transfer this to a good piece of cardboard, but right now that's laying in there just the way we want it. So when I transfer it over to another piece of cardboard, all these little tape pieces will become cardboard. It's just my cheap way of getting up into tight corners and stuff. Instead of ruining a big piece of cardboard because you didn't get the corner right, I'll just get the basic layout and then sneak up in the corners with some tape. So now, once I make it in a real piece of cardboard, we'll test fit it one more time. Then once it fits good with that, then we'll transfer it over to metal. And then the metal one should fit just like this. Like I said, this will have a weld all the way down here. It'll be spot welded all into the chassis. And then out here we'll do a little return flange. And then this section here is the start of the outer bodies. That's where we can attach the outer body to. And this will be an open hole. And this panel will come around and curve in and attach to this. And then the air will flow through. So little by little, the big hole is shrinking down. It turns to cardboard, then the cardboard turns to metal, and the next thing you know, we're getting it closer and closer and closer. I hope you've been following along and you're starting to see it come together. It's still very confusing right now. I get it. It's confusing to me too, but we're working through it. Once this hole is made and this panel comes in, it'll all be explained to you. But if you go back earlier when all this is cardboard and we had that cardboard rolling through, that's all we're doing. We're replacing the cardboard one piece at a time with steel. But we had to get rid of all of it and work our way out, or else everything would be in the way. Right now I can lay the cardboard back on, make sure everything's going the way we want it to, and we take the cardboard back off. That's the good thing about the cardboard. It's our template that's removable and lets us work. A lot of guys fill it all up with foam and carve it all out. That's great for that exterior look, but you can't get in and do none of the form and function of any of it. With doing the cardboard and the wood or the wire frame, it's kind of like a convertible. We could put it on, take it off, get in there, work, put it back on, make sure we're good. So that's what we're doing. A lot of back and forth, which takes a lot of time. But if we take the time now, we have a better product in the end. But that's where we're at. Time to weld this up, make this piece, weld all that up, and then on to the other side, do all the same shit, deja vu on the other side, get that side squared up where this is, and then we'll go on to the next process. This is real deal live, first fucking test fit.
Oh, dun dun dun.
Under camera.
Uh-oh, no pressure.
Under camera. Trim that away and we'll be right in there. Holding up on my wire there.
It's pretty close.
So that would be, I get rid of my wire, this will replace my wire there. Drop it down in there. Think so. Bust that wire off. See, might have to trim more of that down. I don't know. Hey, you don't know. You don't know. A little high right there, but should be doing all right. Hey, it ain't so bad.
Looks pretty good.
Man, ain't so bad. Look at that. We could glue that in. Yeah, I think I need to grind a little bit of that edge down. Hey, so bad. Be all right, Tim.
Yeah.
We might just keep you around a minute.
Trying to figure out the outer shape now.
I just transferring the wires because I got all the internals made to here. I have this piece made matching off of the templates that I made on that side. Now I'm transferring the wire from that side to this side so I can make duplicates before we take that apart so that both sides are pretty close to the same. And then we can also do measurements from the body out and everything off of the wire. The wire has a lot of things. It holds tape and paper, and then it also gives us a lot of reference points. So once I have all the wiring cut from the same size and setting in place like it is here, then we know we're going right down the right street. If we got to make any adjustments, we can at this time. So then what I'll end up doing is cardboarding this side and cardboarding that side again, so we can stand back and look at both sides from the back and the front and make sure they look like they're flowing the right way and one side's not bigger or more bulged than the other. So just once again, catching this side up with that side before we go to the next steps. I knocked this piece out.
Got it back.
Nope. Ain't no knocking nothing out. Nah, it's coming, but it ain't back. Just trying to get this radius nice and smooth that follows that opening, but then I got to get it to curve this way to follow the shape of the body. So once I get this radius, then I start shaping this way, it throws it off. So then you tweak it back to get it in, well, something else moves, and it's just a back and forth situation. Back and forth, back and forth. I'm off down there, shy down there.
Thanks for watching. If you want to see more build videos like this, help us out by liking, commenting, and subscribing to our channel. And it's a little thing to do, but don't forget to turn on those notifications. If you want to buy merch, go to store.classiccarstudio.com. See you next time.